I'm turning into a snake. Oh my.
Maya stood frozen in her bathroom, the mirror trembling in her hands. Behind her reflection, where her husband should have been standing, she saw something impossible. From his waist down, golden scales gleamed under the bathroom light, forming a massive serpent's tail that coiled across their marble floor. "Baby, is that you?" she had asked moments before. Now her heart hammered against her ribs as she slowly turned around. But Ryan stood there perfectly normal. Handsome, wealthy, human. His $1,000 suit showed no trace of what the mirror had revealed. "Is everything okay?" he asked calmly. How had she gotten here? How had a simple night out in San Francisco led to marriage with a man who apparently wasn't human? The diamond ring on her finger suddenly felt heavier. The mansion felt colder. And the question that burned in her mind was simple yet terrifying. What exactly had she married? To more motivation to release another, try to share the video and tell in the comment which stories you like to watch, and don't forget to watch full video so that you will understand. Have you ever met someone who seemed too good to be true? Drop a comment below with your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe for where Ryan makes Maya an offer she can't refuse. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss what happens next. The redwood forest north of San Francisco stood silent under the moonlight. Ancient trees stretched toward the stars, their branches forming a canopy so thick that even the brightest moon struggled to pierce through. Deep within this forest, beneath the oldest redwood tree, something stirred. The massive tree had stood for over 2,000 years. Its trunk was wider than a car. Its roots dug deeper than any human could imagine. And tonight, like many nights before, it held a secret. A golden python emerged from between the roots. The snake was enormous, at least 20 feet long, with scales that shimmered like polished gold coins. Its eyes glowed with an intelligence that no ordinary snake possessed. It moved with purpose, slithering across the forest floor until it reached a small clearing bathed in moonlight. Then something extraordinary happened. The python's body began to shift. Its scales rippled like water. A sound like wind through leaves filled the air, though no wind blew. The snake's form twisted and contorted, growing taller, changing shape. In one long, fluid motion, the python transformed into a man. He stood tall and confident, easily 6 feet with broad shoulders. His skin was smooth and unblemished. Within seconds, an expensive charcoal suit materialized on his body, perfectly tailored, probably worth $10,000. Italian leather shoes appeared on his feet, polished to a mirror shine. A platinum watch sparkled on his wrist, catching the moonlight. His hair was styled perfectly. His face looked like it belonged on a magazine cover. In his right hand, a black leather briefcase appeared, looking heavy and important. The man smiled slowly, the kind of smile that held secrets. Without looking back at the ancient tree, he walked through the forest with confident steps. His shoes somehow never got dirty despite the forest floor. At the edge of the forest, beside the highway, a black Tesla Model S sat waiting. The car's body gleamed like obsidian. As he approached, the lights blinked once in recognition, and the doors unlocked automatically. He slid into the driver's seat, adjusted his suit jacket, and placed the briefcase carefully on the passenger seat. The electric motor hummed to life silently. He touched the screen, set the navigation, and pulled onto Highway 101 heading south toward San Francisco. The city lights grew brighter as he drove. San Francisco's nightlife was legendary, a mix of tech money, old wealth, and wild energy. The Tesla moved smoothly through traffic until it reached the Marina District. He parked in front of Velvet, one of the city's hottest nightclubs. LED lights flashed across its modern facade in waves of blue and purple. A line of people waited behind velvet ropes, but he walked straight to the entrance. The bouncer took one look at his suit, his watch, his car, and immediately unhooked the rope. "Welcome, sir." Inside, the music hit him like a wave. Electronic beats pulsed through massive speakers. The dance floor was packed with bodies moving in rhythm. Strobe lights cut through artificial fog. The smell of expensive cologne and cocktails filled the air. The mysterious man walked calmly through the chaos, ignoring the curious stares. He found an empty VIP booth in the corner and sat down. The briefcase rested beside him. A waitress appeared instantly. "What can I get you, sir?" "Just water," he said smoothly. "Cold." She nodded and disappeared. He sat back and watched the crowd with those unusual eyes. Nobody knew who he was. But from his appearance, everyone could tell he had serious money. Then something caught his attention. On the raised platform near the DJ booth, a woman was dancing. She moved with natural grace, her confidence magnetic. Her dark hair caught the lights as she spun. Her smile was genuine and bright. She wore a simple but elegant dress that moved with her body. Her name was Maya Chen, though he didn't know that yet. She was a regular here, a marketing consultant who loved to dance after long work weeks. Everyone at Velvet knew her. She was fun, smart, and always the life of the party. But tonight, Maya had no idea her entire life was about to change forever. The stranger reached for his briefcase. The moment he opened it under the club's flashing lights, something shocking happened. The briefcase was completely filled with cash. Stacks and stacks of $100 bills, bundled neatly, filling every inch of space. There had to be at least $200,000 inside. People at nearby tables gasped. Someone shouted, "Oh my God, look at that!" Another person grabbed their friend's arm, eyes wide with disbelief. Nobody knew him. Nobody knew where he came from. Nobody knew why he carried such an absurd amount of cash. But he didn't seem to care about the attention. He calmly took out several thick stacks of bills and walked toward the dance platform. The DJ noticed him approaching and turned down the music slightly. "Looks like we've got a serious player in the house tonight, folks." Maya stopped mid-dance when she saw the impossibly handsome stranger walking toward her, arms full of cash. Before she could say a word, he began throwing money into the air. $100 bills flew like confetti. The crowd erupted in screams. Phones came out instantly, recording everything. People pushed closer, reaching for falling bills. "Who is this guy?" someone yelled. "Where did he come from? That's real money. Look at it." Maya stood frozen, her mouth open in shock as money rained down around her. She laughed in disbelief and kept dancing as the stranger continued throwing stack after stack without any expression changing on his face. Finally, he returned to his booth, closed the briefcase, and sat down as calmly as if nothing unusual had happened. Maya couldn't help herself. She jumped off the platform and practically ran to his table. She pulled out a chair and sat directly across from him, still catching her breath from dancing and pure excitement. "I haven't seen you here before," she said, her heart racing. The man looked up with a gentle smile. "My name is Ryan." Maya studied the mysterious man across from her. Up close, Ryan was even more striking. His features were almost too perfect, symmetrical face, clear skin, eyes that seemed to catch the light in unusual ways. Something about him felt different, but the excitement of the moment pushed any doubts aside. "Ryan," she repeated, testing the name. "Well, Ryan, that was quite an entrance." He smiled that same calm smile. "I believe in making impressions." "You certainly made one." Maya gestured at the dance floor where people were still talking about what just happened, holding up bills, recording TikTok videos. "So what brings you to Velvet?" "I've never seen you around, and I'm here pretty often." "I'm new to the city," Ryan said smoothly. "Just moved here for business." "What kind of business?" "Tech software development." It was the perfect answer for San Francisco. Everyone here was in tech. Maya nodded. That explained the money. Another tech millionaire, maybe billionaire. The city was full of them. But none of them had ever thrown cash at her like that. A waitress brought champagne to their table. Expensive champagne that Ryan hadn't ordered but that the club owner sent over, clearly wanting to keep this big spender happy. "So Maya," Ryan said, and she realized she hadn't told him her name yet. He must have heard the DJ say it earlier. Tell me about yourself. They talked for the next hour. Maya told him about her work in marketing, her small apartment in the Mission District, her love for dancing. Ryan listened intently, asking questions, seeming genuinely interested. He revealed little about himself, keeping his answers vague but charming. You have family in the city? Maya asked at one point. Ryan's smile faltered for just a fraction of a second. No. No family. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't be. It's just the way things are. He changed the subject quickly. You're very easy to talk to, Maya. She blushed. Despite the bizarre way they'd met, she was enjoying his company. He was articulate, thoughtful, and undeniably attractive. And rich. Very rich. Then Ryan did something completely unexpected. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Maya's eyes widened. He couldn't be. No, that was impossible. They'd just met. But Ryan opened the box, revealing a diamond ring. Not just any diamond, a flawless 3-carat stone that caught the club lights and threw rainbows across their table. The music seemed to fade. People at nearby tables noticed and started pointing. Maya Chen, Ryan said calmly, as if proposing to a stranger was the most normal thing in the world. Will you marry me? Maya's jaw dropped. She looked at the ring, then at him, then back at the ring. Her mind raced. Are you serious? We just met tonight. I know what I want, Ryan said simply. From the moment I saw you dancing, I knew. Some things are meant to be. But you don't even know me. I don't know you. We'll learn. Marriage is a journey. His dark eyes held hers steadily. I can give you everything, Maya. A life beyond what you've imagined. Maya's rational mind screamed that this was insane. You don't marry strangers. This was how people ended up on true crime podcasts. But her eyes drifted to the briefcase still sitting beside him, then back to the massive diamond ring. How much money did he have? What kind of life could he offer? She started, then stopped. Ryan stood up and, in front of the entire club, got down on one knee. The DJ noticed and cut the music. Suddenly, everyone was watching. Phones pointed at them from every direction. Maya, will you marry me? The club held its collective breath. Maya's heart pounded. This was crazy. Absolutely crazy. But when would an opportunity like this come again? She was 32, working a decent job but nothing special, living in an expensive city where she could barely afford rent. And here was a handsome, wealthy man offering her everything. Yes, she heard herself say. Yes, I'll marry you. The club erupted. People cheered and screamed. The DJ put on an upbeat song. Strangers congratulated her. Ryan slipped the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly, which should have been strange, but Maya was too excited to notice. He stood and pulled her into a gentle embrace. His body felt oddly cool despite the warm club, but Maya attributed it to air conditioning. His cologne smelled expensive and slightly unusual, like nothing she'd encountered before. You won't regret this, Ryan whispered in her ear. They stayed at the club for another hour, with people coming up to congratulate them, take pictures, ask about their story. Ryan handled it all with smooth charm, never revealing much about himself but saying just enough to satisfy curiosity. Finally, around 2 a.m., he stood up. I should go. I have an early morning meeting. Maya grabbed her purse. I'll come with you. No need. I'll pick you up tomorrow evening. We have much to discuss. Wedding plans, living arrangements. He handed her a black credit card. Buy yourself something nice tomorrow. Whatever you want. Maya stared at the card. It was one of those exclusive cards with no spending limit, the kind that billionaires carried. Ryan, I can't just. He pressed a finger gently to her lips. You're my fiancé now. What's mine is yours. I'll see you tomorrow at 7. Text me your address. He handed her his phone to enter her number. Before she could protest further, Ryan picked up his briefcase and walked out of the club. Maya watched him go, the diamond ring heavy on her finger, the credit card feeling like a brick in her hand. Her best friend Jessica appeared at her side within seconds. "Girl, did that really just happen? Did you just get engaged to a complete stranger?" Maya turned to her, eyes still wide. "I think I did. Are you insane? You don't know anything about him." "I know he's rich," Maya said, and even to her own ears it sounded shallow. "Maya, seriously. What if he's dangerous? What if—" "Jess, look at this ring." Maya held up her hand. The diamond sparkled almost hypnotically. "Look at what he just gave me. When does this happen to people like us?" Jessica bit her lip, clearly worried but also slightly envious. "Just be careful, okay? This feels too good to be true." "Maybe some things are just meant to be," Maya repeated Ryan's words. But as she left the club that night, walking to her car with the diamond ring on her finger, something nagged at her. She'd been so caught up in the excitement that she hadn't asked basic questions. Where did Ryan live? What company did he work for? Did he have friends in the city? Family anywhere? She knew almost nothing about the man she'd just agreed to marry. The ring caught the streetlight, throwing sparkles across her dashboard as she drove home. It was beautiful. It was probably worth more than she made in a year. Maya pushed her doubts aside. Tomorrow she'd learn more about him. Tomorrow they'd talk properly. Tomorrow everything would make sense. She had no idea that Ryan wasn't driving to any apartment. He was heading back to Highway 101, back toward the redwood forest, back to the ancient tree. And she had no idea that when his feet touched the forest floor, his body would twist and change, the expensive suit would vanish, and golden scales would emerge as he transformed back into what he really was. In her apartment that night, Maya lay in bed unable to sleep, staring at the ring on her finger, wondering if she'd just made the best decision of her life or the worst mistake. Maya woke up the next morning convinced it had all been a dream. But the first thing she saw when she opened her eyes was the diamond ring on her nightstand, catching the morning sunlight and throwing tiny rainbows across her ceiling. It was real. All of it was real. She grabbed her phone. It was already 11 a.m. She'd slept through her alarm. There were 17 missed calls from Jessica and about 40 text messages in their group chat. Her other friends had seen the videos from last night. The footage had gone viral on TikTok and Instagram. "OMG, is that you? Girl, who is this man? That ring is insane. Are you okay? This seems crazy. I need details now." Maya scrolled through the comments on the viral videos. Thousands of people had watched a stranger propose to her. Some comments were congratulatory. Others were concerned. Many people were trying to figure out who Ryan was, but nobody seemed to know him. She found Ryan's number in her phone and sent a text. "Morning. Last night was unexpected. Are we really doing this?" His response came immediately. "Absolutely. I'll pick you up at 7. Wear something nice. And use the card I gave you. Treat yourself." Maya looked at the black credit card sitting on her dresser. She'd never held a card like this before. Did it really have no limit? After a long shower, she decided to find out. She drove to Union Square, San Francisco's luxury shopping district. The streets were busy with tourists and wealthy locals. Maya felt out of place as she walked into Neiman Marcus, but the moment she showed the card, everything changed. "Ah yes, Ms. Chen," the sales associate said, somehow knowing her name. "Mr. Ryan called ahead. We're to assist you with anything you need." For the next 3 hours, Maya was treated like royalty. Designer dresses, shoes, handbags, jewelry. Everything she tried on, they insisted she take. She kept waiting for someone to say there was a limit, but nobody did. By 4 p.m., she'd spent over $50,000 and felt both exhilarated and guilty. She'd never spent more than $200 on a single item before. Her phone rang. It was her mother. "Maya, Jessica told me everything. You got engaged?" To who? Why didn't you call me? Mom, bring him to dinner. Tonight. Your father and I need to meet this man before you do anything crazy. Maya agreed, partly because she wanted her parents to meet Ryan, and partly because she wanted to see how he handled normal family interaction. That would tell her a lot about who he really was. She texted Ryan, "Change of plans. My parents want to meet you tonight. Dinner at their place at 7. His response, "Perfect. I love meeting family. Send me the address." That evening, Maya stood in her apartment in a new designer dress, her hands shaking slightly as she applied makeup. What was she doing? 24 hours ago, she didn't know Ryan existed. Now she was introducing him to her parents as her fiancé. At exactly 7 p.m., her doorbell rang. She opened it to find Ryan looking impossibly handsome in a navy suit. But what caught her attention was what he carried: an enormous bouquet of roses for her, and 2 gift bags. "For you," he said, handing her the roses. "And these are for your parents." "Ryan, you didn't have to. I want to make a good impression." In the car, a different Tesla, this one a Model X, Maya tried to gather information. "So, tell me about your company. What exactly do you do?" "Software development, AI technology." "It's technical and boring," Ryan said smoothly. "I'd rather hear about your family. Tell me about your parents." He deflected every personal question with charm and compliments. By the time they reached her parents' home in the Richmond district, Maya realized she still knew almost nothing concrete about him. Her parents' reaction was exactly what she expected. Her father, David Chin, opened the door with a suspicious expression. Her mother, Linda, stood behind him with forced politeness. "Mom, Dad, this is Ryan." "Mr. and Mrs. Chen, it's an honor." Ryan bowed slightly, a respectful Asian gesture that immediately softened her mother's expression. He handed them the gift bags. Just small tokens of respect. Inside were a vintage bottle of expensive whiskey for her father and a Hermes scarf for her mother. Her mother's eyes widened. She knew that scarf cost at least $1,000. Dinner was an interrogation disguised as polite conversation. "So, Ryan, what do your parents do?" her father asked. "They passed away when I was young. I was raised by distant relatives." "Oh, I'm so sorry," her mother said, immediately sympathetic. "That must have been hard. It taught me to be independent, to build my own family." He reached across the table and squeezed Maya's hand. His skin was cool, but Maya was getting used to it. "And your company?" her father pressed. "What's it called?" "Serpentine Technologies. We're relatively new but growing fast." Maya made a mental note to Google that later. "Where did you go to school?" "MIT for undergrad, Stanford for business school." The answers came quickly, confidently. Too confidently. Maya watched her father's expression. He wasn't entirely convinced, but the expensive whiskey and Ryan's respectful demeanor were working in Ryan's favor. "This is all very sudden," her mother said carefully. "You two just met." "I know it seems fast," Maya admitted. "But sometimes you just know, right?" Her mother and father exchanged looks. They'd been married for 35 years, had met in college and dated for 4 years before getting engaged. This was not their style. But then Ryan said something that changed everything. "Mr. and Mrs. Chin, I understand your concerns. In fact, I'd like to help ease them." He pulled out a folder from his briefcase. "I've purchased a home in Pacific Heights. The deed is in Maya's name alone. Regardless of what happens between us, she'll always have security." He slid papers across the table. Maya's parents stared at them. "This property is worth..." Her father's voice trailed off as he looked at the number. $4 million. "It's a modest place," Ryan said. "But it's a start." Maya felt dizzy. A $4 million home? In her name? Her mother's resistance crumbled completely. "Well, that's very generous." By the end of dinner, her parents were won over. Her father shook Ryan's hand warmly. Her mother hugged him and whispered to Maya, "He's a keeper. Don't let this one go." In the car afterward, Maya was quiet. "You okay?" Ryan asked. "You bought me a house. I wanted your parents to know you'll be taken care of. But we barely know each other." Ryan pulled the car over. He turned to face her, his dark eyes intense. "Maya, I know this is fast. I know it's unusual. But I've never been more certain of anything in my life. If you want to slow down, we can. If you want to take time, we will. But I promise you, I will never hurt you. Do you believe me?" Looking into his eyes, Maya found herself nodding. "I believe you." "Good. Now, would you like to see your new home?" The house in Pacific Heights was stunning. A modern 3-story Victorian with bay windows, hardwood floors, a gourmet kitchen, and a view of the Golden Gate Bridge. Maya walked through it in a daze. "This is really mine. Every inch. I'll stay here only if you want me to. Otherwise, I'll get my own place nearby." "No," Maya heard herself say. "Stay. We're engaged. We should try living together." Ryan smiled, and for a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Something ancient and knowing. But it vanished so quickly that Maya thought she imagined it. That night, they sat on the house's back deck, looking at the city lights. Ryan's arm was around her shoulders, but she noticed again how cool his skin felt. "Are you cold?" she asked. "Your body temperature is really low." "Poor circulation. I've always been like that." It was a reasonable explanation. Maya snuggled closer, letting his coolness refresh her in the warm evening. She didn't notice that Ryan never ate at dinner. She didn't notice that he cast no shadow when he stood in front of the outdoor lights. She didn't notice the way he occasionally tensed, as if fighting against his own body. "I need to step out for a bit," Ryan said around midnight. "Business call with Asia. Time zones, you know." At midnight. Tech never sleeps. He kissed her forehead. "I'll be back soon." He walked to his car and drove away. Maya went inside, exhausted and overwhelmed. She fell asleep on the couch, her mind spinning with everything that had happened. She didn't know that Ryan drove straight back to the forest. That his body changed in the darkness. That a golden python slithered between the ancient trees, its scales glinting in the moonlight. And she didn't know that this would become a pattern. Every night, he would leave. And every night, he would return to what he truly was. The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of wedding preparations. Maya felt like she was living someone else's life. A life she'd only seen in movies or on the Instagram feeds of influencers. Ryan insisted they get married quickly. "Why wait?" he'd said. "We know what we want." And somehow, Maya found herself agreeing. Maybe it was the luxury. Maybe it was how attentive Ryan was during the day. Maybe it was simply that she'd always dreamed of being swept off her feet, and now it was actually happening. Her friend Jessica was less enthusiastic. 3 weeks. Jessica said when Maya told her the wedding date. "Maya, normal people date for years before getting married. Normal people don't meet billionaires who worship them," Maya countered. They were at a wedding dress boutique on Maiden Lane. Maya was trying on her 5th dress, a stunning ivory gown with delicate lace and crystal beading that cost more than her old apartment's annual rent. "He worships you." Jessica raised an eyebrow. "Or he's love-bombing you." "What's the difference?" "Intent. Love-bombing is manipulation. It's too much, too fast, specifically to make you dependent before you realize something's wrong." Maya stepped out of the dressing room. The dress fit perfectly, making her look like a princess. The boutique staff gasped and applauded. "Does this look like something's wrong?" Maya gestured at herself. Jessica sighed. "You look beautiful. I worry about you. You still don't really know him." "I know enough. He's kind, generous, successful." "Where's his family, Maya? Why hasn't he introduced you to anyone from his past?" No friends, no relatives, no co-workers. Maya had wondered about this too. Every time she asked about meeting his friends or visiting his office, Ryan had an excuse. His family was gone. His employees were scattered remotely. His friends were traveling. He's private, Maya said, but the words felt weak even to her. Or he's hiding something. Before Maya could respond, her phone buzzed. A text from Ryan. How's the dress shopping? Don't forget. Money is no object. Get what makes you happy. See. Maya showed Jessica the text. He's thoughtful. He's rich. That's not the same thing. But Jessica was in the minority. Everyone else in Maya's life had embraced Ryan completely, especially after they learned about his generosity. Ryan had offered to pay for the entire wedding. Not just pay for it, but make it spectacular. He rented the Palace of Fine Arts for the ceremony and the Fairmont Hotel's rooftop for the reception. He hired a famous wedding planner. He flew in flowers from Ecuador. He booked a celebrity photographer. Maya's parents were ecstatic. Her father kept saying, "This is the wedding we always wanted to give you but couldn't afford." Her mother had stopped asking questions entirely, too busy bragging to relatives about her daughter's tech mogul husband. Even Maya's co-workers at the marketing firm were impressed. Her boss had pulled her aside. "So, after the wedding, are you planning to keep working?" Maya had thought about this. "I don't know. Ryan says I don't have to." "Well, just know you're always welcome here. But honestly, if I were you, I'd enjoy the life he's offering." The only person who remained consistently skeptical was Maya's cousin James, a cybersecurity expert who worked at Google. "I tried to find information about Serpentine Technologies," James told her over coffee one afternoon. "The company exists. It was founded 6 months ago, filed in Delaware. But there's almost no information about it. No website, no product announcements, no press releases. Maybe they're in stealth mode. Lots of startups are secretive." For 6 months. With no presence at all. James shook his head. "And I couldn't find any record of Ryan before this year. No social media history, no previous employment, no educational records I could verify. Maybe he values privacy." "Nobody's this private, Maya. It's like he didn't exist until 6 months ago." The conversation troubled Maya, but she pushed it aside. She was committed now. The wedding was in 1 week. The week flew by with final fittings, rehearsals, and preparations. Ryan was always present during the day, attentive and caring. But every single night, he disappeared. "Business calls," he'd say. Or, "meeting with investors in Asia." Or, "site visit to the server farm." He always had an explanation. And he always returned by morning, looking fresh and perfect as if he'd slept soundly, though Maya never actually saw him sleep. The night before the wedding, Maya stayed at her old apartment. Tradition, her mother insisted. Jessica and her bridesmaids threw her a small bachelorette party. "Last chance to back out," Jessica joked, but her eyes were serious. "I'm not backing out," Maya said firmly. "Tomorrow, I'm marrying Ryan." The wedding day arrived with perfect weather. San Francisco could be foggy and cold, but that day the sun shone bright and warm. Maya got ready at the Fairmont, surrounded by hairstylists, makeup artists, and friends. When she finally put on her dress, she barely recognized herself in the mirror. She looked like a fairy tale princess. "You're stunning," her mother said, tears in her eyes. "Mom, don't cry, you'll make me cry. I'm just so happy for you, sweetie. You deserve this." The ceremony at the Palace of Fine Arts was breathtaking. White roses everywhere, a string quartet playing, 200 guests in elegant attire. Maya's father walked her down the aisle, and she saw Ryan waiting at the altar in a white tuxedo. He looked impossibly handsome. His smile was warm and genuine. For a moment, all of Maya's doubts vanished. But as the ceremony progressed, something nagged at her. Ryan's side of the venue was filled with people, well-dressed men and women in expensive suits. But when the officiant asked if anyone objected, Maya glanced back at Ryan's guests. Their faces were oddly blank. They sat perfectly still. They smiled at the right moments but seemed off somehow, like very good actors playing the role of wedding guests. And she realized she'd never been introduced to any of them. "Who are all those people on your side?" she whispered to Ryan while the officiant was giving the blessing. "Business associates," he whispered back. "I told you about them." But he hadn't. Not really. Before she could question further, it was time for vows. Ryan spoke first, his voice smooth and confident. "Maya, from the moment I saw you, I knew you were special. I promised to give you everything you've ever wanted. To protect you. To treasure you. You are mine now, and I am yours." The words were romantic but oddly possessive. Maya tried to ignore the slight chill that ran down her spine. She said her own vows, speaking from her heart about partnership, growth, and love. When she finished, Ryan squeezed her hands. His grip was firm but his skin was cool as always. "I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride." Ryan pulled her close and kissed her. The crowd applauded. Music swelled. And just like that, Maya Chen became Maya. She realized with a start that she didn't know Ryan's last name. "What's your last name?" she whispered as they walked back down the aisle. "Novak," he said smoothly. "Ryan Novak. I thought you knew." She hadn't known. They'd been so caught up in the whirlwind that she'd never asked, and he'd never mentioned it. The reception was spectacular. The food was exquisite, a fusion menu designed by a Michelin-starred chef. The champagne flowed freely. The rooftop view of the city was stunning. But Maya noticed something odd. She never saw Ryan eat. He had food on his plate. He cut it, moved it around, but she never actually saw him take a bite. "Aren't you hungry?" she asked. "I ate earlier. Big breakfast." He smiled and clinked his champagne glass against hers, but she noticed he didn't drink from his own glass. The strangest part came when it was time for toasts. Usually, the best man and maid of honor give speeches. Jessica's maid of honor speech was funny and touching. But when the DJ called for the best man, an awkward silence fell. Finally, one of the mystery guests from Ryan's side stood up. He was tall, wearing an expensive suit, with the same oddly blank expression. "To Ryan and Maya," the man said in a monotone voice. "May their union be everything Ryan hoped for." It was the shortest, strangest toast anyone had ever heard. The man sat down without another word. People exchanged confused glances but applauded politely. "Who was that?" Maya asked Ryan. "Old friend. He's not great with public speaking." Another non-answer. As the night went on, Maya tried to mingle with Ryan's guests, to learn something about her new husband's life. But every conversation was frustratingly vague. "How do you know Ryan?" she'd ask. "Through work," they'd reply. "What project did you work on together?" "Various things. Technical stuff." They were polite but revealed nothing. It was like talking to very sophisticated robots. By the time they cut the cake, Maya had a headache. Everything was beautiful, everyone seemed happy, but something felt fundamentally wrong. She just couldn't identify what. The party ended around midnight. Ryan had rented the penthouse suite for their wedding night. As they rode the elevator up, he pulled her close. "Happy, Mrs. Novak?" "Yes," Maya said, and she meant it, despite her lingering concerns. "It was a beautiful wedding. Only the best for you." They reached the suite, a sprawling space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Rose petals covered the bed. Champagne waited on ice. Ryan Carey. Maya over the threshold, and she laughed, feeling like they were in a romantic movie. He set her down gently and kissed her. "I need to make a quick call," he said suddenly. "Business thing. I'll be right back." "Ryan, it's our wedding night." "Can't business wait?" "5 minutes. I promise." He stepped onto the balcony, pulling out his phone. Maya watched him through the glass. His back was to her. He appeared to be talking, but something about his posture seemed odd, tense, almost like he was in pain. After 15 minutes, she opened the balcony door. "Ryan, is everything okay?" He turned, and for just a split second, his eyes looked different. They caught the city lights strangely, reflecting them back like an animal's eyes in headlights. But when he blinked, they were normal again. "Everything's fine. Sorry, it took longer than expected." He came back inside, pulled her close, and kissed her deeply. They spent their wedding night in the beautiful suite, but Maya couldn't fully relax. Even as Ryan held her, she noticed his body temperature was unnaturally cool. He explained it away as always. Poor circulation, AC, anything but the truth. Around 3 a.m., exhausted, Maya finally fell asleep. When she woke at dawn, Ryan was gone. A note sat on his pillow. "Went to finalize some business. Back soon. Love, R." On their wedding night. He'd left on their wedding night. Maya sat up in bed, the diamond wedding ring heavy on her finger, and for the first time since this whirlwind began, she let herself truly question what she'd done. Who had she actually married? And why did she suddenly feel like she'd made a terrible mistake? The first month of marriage was a strange mix of luxury and loneliness. During the day, Ryan was the perfect husband. He surprised Maya with gifts, designer handbags, jewelry, a new BMW. He took her to expensive restaurants where waiters knew his name despite him supposedly being new to the city. He was attentive, romantic, always saying the right things. But every single night, he disappeared. "I have to check on the servers," he'd say. Or, "meeting with the development team." Or, "conference call with Tokyo." Always an excuse. Always business. Always between midnight and dawn. Maya would fall asleep alone and wake up to find Ryan beside her, freshly showered, as if he'd been there all along. But she knew he hadn't been. She could feel the emptiness of the house during those dark hours. Her friends noticed the strain. "How's married life?" Jessica asked over lunch one day. "It's good," Maya said unconvincingly. "But he works a lot. Like every night. Every night." "What kind of job requires that?" "Tech, different time zones. You know how it is." Jessica frowned but didn't push further. She'd made her concerns clear before the wedding. Now she could only watch and hope Maya would be okay. Maya tried to learn more about Ryan's work. She asked to visit his office. "It's in the middle of a redesign," he said. "Very messy. You wouldn't enjoy it." She asked to meet his team. "They're all remote. Scattered around the world." She asked about his investors. "Confidentiality agreements. I can't discuss specifics." Every question hit a wall. Ryan was loving and generous, but he revealed nothing real about himself. One afternoon, Maya decided to do her own investigation. She went to the address listed for Serpentine Technologies, an office building in the financial district. The building was real and professional. But when she asked the lobby receptionist about Serpentine Technologies, the woman looked confused. "What floor are they on?" Maya checked the business card Ryan had given her. 15th floor. "The 15th floor is vacant. It's available for lease." "Are you sure?" "Serpentine Technologies. Tech company." The receptionist checked her computer. "I'm sorry, there's no company by that name in this building." Maya left feeling dizzy. She called the number on Ryan's business card. It rang once and went to a generic voicemail. "You've reached Serpentine Technologies. Leave a message." She left 3 messages. No one ever called back. That evening, Ryan came home with roses and a smile. "I went by your office today," Maya said carefully. Ryan's expression didn't change. "Oh. Why?" "I wanted to surprise you. Take you to lunch. But the building receptionist said there's no Serpentine Technologies there." Ah, we use a shared workspace. The receptionist must be new. They never remember all the companies. It was a smooth explanation. But Maya was starting to see a pattern. Every concern she raised, Ryan had an immediate, plausible answer. Almost like he'd prepared responses in advance. Can I meet your team? Even just a video call. They're very introverted. Tech people, you know. But I'll arrange something soon. When? Soon. He pulled her close, kissing her forehead. Why all the questions? Don't you trust me? Of course I trust you. I married you. Then trust that everything is fine. I'm working hard to build our future. That's all that matters. He was right, wasn't he? He treated her well. He provided everything. What did it matter if his business was mysterious? But that night, Maya couldn't sleep. Around 1 a.m., Ryan kissed her cheek. I need to head out. Server emergency. Again. It's important. I'll be back by dawn. She heard his Tesla pull out of the driveway. Then, impulsively, Maya got up. She opened Ryan's closet, the walk-in closet he'd claimed as his own when they moved in together. She'd never really looked through his things before. It felt like a violation. But tonight, something drove her to investigate. His clothes were all expensive, perfectly tailored suits, designer shirts, Italian shoes. But they were oddly generic. No worn favorites, no college t-shirts, no sentimental items. She checked the pockets. Empty. Every single one. She looked for photos, mementos, anything personal. Nothing. It was like he'd been created fully formed 6 months ago with a wardrobe and nothing else. In his nightstand, she found his passport. Her heart pounded as she opened it. The photo was Ryan, but the issue date was only 7 months ago. His birthday was listed as January 1st, a date that seemed suspiciously generic. She photographed the passport with her phone, feeling guilty but compelled to continue. In his desk drawer, she found his laptop. It was unlocked. Ryan had never been secretive about it, probably because there was nothing to find. She opened it and checked his browsing history. It was almost empty. A few searches for restaurants, some tech news sites, but nothing personal. No social media, no shopping, no random internet wandering that normal people do. His email was the same. Business correspondence that was oddly formal and generic. No personal messages, no friends, no family. Maya's cousin James had been right. It was like Ryan Novak didn't exist before 6 months ago. She heard a sound and nearly jumped out of her skin. But it was just the house settling. Ryan wouldn't be back for hours. She kept searching, not even sure what she was looking for. Evidence of what? An affair? A criminal past? What could possibly explain all these mysteries? Then she found something odd. A locked drawer in his desk. She tried the common keys from the keybox. None worked. She tried forcing it. No luck. But when she pulled hard on the handle, something fell from the back of the desk. A small brass key that had been taped there. With shaking hands, Maya unlocked the drawer. Inside was a single leather journal. She opened it carefully, expecting to find, what? A confession. A secret life. What she found was stranger. The journal was filled with notes written in a language she didn't recognize. Not English, not Chinese, not Spanish or French or any language she'd ever seen. The letters were fluid and curved, almost organic-looking, like writing formed from vines rather than pen strokes. And there were drawings. Sketches of what looked like ancient symbols. Circles within circles, geometric patterns that hurt to look at for too long. And throughout the pages, one image appeared repeatedly, a serpent eating its own tail. Maya's hands trembled. What was this? She took photos of several pages with her phone. Then she carefully placed everything back exactly as she'd found it, locked the drawer, and taped the key back in its hiding place. She crawled back into bed, her mind racing. Should she confront Ryan? But with what evidence? Strange writing and occult-looking symbols? He'd explain it away somehow. He always did. As dawn approached, she heard his car return. She closed her eyes and pretended to sleep. Ryan entered the bedroom quietly. She felt him sit on the bed, felt his cool hand touch her hair gently. Then he went to the bathroom. Through slitted eyes, Maya watched him. And she noticed something she'd never paid attention to before. The bathroom light was on, but Ryan cast almost no shadow. The overhead light should have created a clear shadow on the floor, but his was faint, barely there, like he was only partially present in the physical world. She closed her eyes quickly as he came back to bed. He lay down beside her and was still within minutes, though she'd never once heard him snore or even breathe heavily in sleep. Maya lay awake until morning, questions multiplying in her mind. Who was Ryan Novak? Where did he really go every night? Why couldn't she find any evidence that he'd existed before this year? And what was that journal written in? She needed answers. Real answers. And she needed to be smart about how she got them. The next day, after Ryan left for his supposed office, Maya called her cousin James. "I need your help," she said. "And I need you not to judge me. What's going on? I think something's wrong with Ryan. Really wrong. And I need you to help me figure out what." She sent James the photos of the passport, the journal pages, everything she'd found. She also gave him permission to do a deep background check. "This might take a few days," James warned. "And Maya, if I find something bad, I need to know. Whatever it is." While James investigated, Maya played the role of happy newlywed. She smiled, she thanked Ryan for his gifts, she pretended everything was normal. But at night, when he left, she started following him. The first night, she waited until his Tesla disappeared, then got in her BMW and drove in the same direction. He headed north on Highway 101. She followed from a distance, lights off when possible. He exited toward Muir Woods, the redwood forest north of the city. Maya's heart pounded. What business could he possibly have in a forest at 2 a.m.? She parked far back and followed on foot. The forest was dark and creepy. She used her phone's flashlight, following the path Ryan's car had taken. Then she lost him. His Tesla was parked near a trailhead, but Ryan was nowhere to be seen. Maya walked deeper into the forest, the ancient redwoods towering above her like silent giants. She called his name softly. "Ryan." No answer. Just whined through the trees and the sound of her own breathing. She was about to turn back when she heard something. A sound like hissing, long and low, coming from deeper in the forest. Every instinct told her to run. But she was tired of being afraid, tired of not knowing. Maya moved toward the sound. In a small clearing, lit by moonlight, she saw movement. Something large sliding between the trees. Something that gleamed gold in the moonlight. A snake. But not just any snake. It was massive, easily 20 feet long, with scales that shimmered like metal. Maya's breath caught. She stepped back, foot crunching on a branch. The creature's head turned toward her. Its eyes glowed in the darkness, and for a split second, she would have sworn they looked familiar. They looked like... No, that was impossible. Maya turned and ran. She didn't stop until she reached her car, hands shaking so badly she could barely start the engine. She drove home well over the speed limit, checking her rearview mirror constantly. When she got home, she locked every door and window. She sat in the living room with the lights on, trying to rationalize what she'd seen. It was just a snake. California had snakes. Big ones sometimes. It was coincidence that Ryan was in the same forest. He was probably just meeting someone, having an affair. Even that explanation would be better than the thoughts creeping into her mind. At dawn, Ryan came home. He walked in smiling, carrying coffee from her favorite cafe. "Good morning, beautiful. Why are you up so early?" Maya stared at him. She searched his face for any sign of what she'd seen in the forest. But he looked completely normal. Handsome, human, ordinary. Couldn't sleep, she managed. Everything okay? Yes. Fine. Just thinking about things. Ryan studied her face. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Something knowing. Then he smiled and handed her the coffee. Don't think too much. Just enjoy life. But Maya couldn't enjoy anything anymore. She was terrified. And she had no idea what to do. Because she was starting to suspect that the man she married wasn't a man at all. Maya spent days in controlled panic after seeing the golden snake. She convinced herself it was stress, a trick of moonlight, anything but the truth whispering in her mind. Ryan became more attentive, bringing flowers daily, cooking elaborate meals though he never ate. He suggested vacations, but Maya was afraid to be isolated with him. Then her cousin James called. Come to my apartment. Now. Don't tell Ryan. James looked exhausted when she arrived. Ryan Novak's identity is 7 months old. Everything, social security, driver's license, passport. It's like he didn't exist before. Maybe he changed his name? I checked. No legal name changes anywhere. James pulled up more files. His fingerprints aren't in any database. And that journal writing. A linguistics professor said it resembles a mythological language spoken by Nagas, serpent beings from Hindu mythology who can appear human but are actually divine snakes. They sometimes marry humans. Maya felt the room spin. That's mythology. Not real. Then explain this. James showed her the Ouroboros symbol from Ryan's journal. The snake eating its own tail. It represents transformation and infinity. Maya, every piece of evidence points to Ryan not being human. Maya drove home in a daze. Nagas. Shapeshifters. Impossible. That evening Ryan said the words she dreaded. I need to head out. Conference call with London. The moment he left, Maya changed into dark clothes and drove to Muir Woods. She had to know the truth. The forest was eerie at night. She found Ryan's Tesla parked in the same spot. Moving quietly through the trees, she heard it, that hissing sound that made her skin crawl. In a moonlit clearing by the massive redwood, she saw the golden serpent. And this time, she watched the impossible happen. The snake's body shifted, grew taller, transformed. Within minutes, Ryan stood there, human, perfect, wearing his suit as if it materialized from nothing. He was a snake. Her husband was actually a snake. Ryan's head snapped toward her. Their eyes locked. Maya ran, crashing through the forest. She heard him behind her, impossibly fast. Maya! Wait. Let me explain. She reached her car, started the engine, and floored it. In the rearview mirror, he stood watching her go. At home, she locked herself in the guest bedroom, pushing furniture against the door. Her mind couldn't process what she'd seen. Around 3 a.m., she heard him return. Maya, I know you're scared. But please, let me explain. I would never hurt you. I love you. Go away. You're a monster. Silence. Then, I'm not a monster. I'm just different. Please, Maya, give me a chance to explain. At dawn, she finally opened the door. Ryan was making coffee as if nothing had happened. I'm sorry you found out this way, he said calmly. That my husband is a snake? That I married a creature from mythology? I'm a Naga, a serpent being. But my feelings for you, those are real. Why me? Why did you choose me? Ryan sighed. There's a prophecy. When a Naga reaches a certain age, they must bond with a human or fade away. But it has to be someone we genuinely connect with. When I saw you dancing, I felt that pull. So this was about saving yourself? At first, yes. But Maya, I've grown to truly love you. What happens now? Now you decide. Do you want the whole truth? Or do you leave and try to forget? Maya thought about running. But she needed to understand. Tell me everything. Ryan began at the beginning. My kind have existed for thousands of years. We're simply another form of life, hidden from humans. We live in remote places, deep forests, caves, underwater caverns. How many of you are there? Maybe 5,000 worldwide. We're long-lived but don't reproduce quickly. How old are you? 247 years. Maya's breath caught. He looked 35. The transformation takes energy, Ryan continued. I have to return to my serpent form regularly, especially at night. That's where I've been going. Back to the forest, back to myself. The money. Nagas accumulate treasures over lifetimes. I liquidated some to create my human identity. Maya's mind raced. The bond you mentioned. What does that mean? Ryan's expression grew serious. A permanent joining. It begins at marriage but completes through connection. It's nearly complete now. What happens when it completes? You'll share some of my nature. Extended lifespan. Enhanced healing. And... He paused. You won't be able to leave me. The bond is permanent. I'm trapped. Forever. It's not a trap. It's a joining. You'd have centuries of life, wealth, protection. I didn't choose this. I chose a lie. Can it be undone? Ryan's face darkened. Theoretically, yes. But it could kill me and harm you significantly. Maya walked to Ocean Beach and spent hours processing. Her husband was mythological. She was being transformed, bound permanently. But had he been unkind? No. More caring than any human boyfriend. And the life he offered, centuries of experiences. Wasn't that appealing? That evening, she returned home. I have questions. A lot of them. They talked through the night. What did he eat? Energy from Earth. Family. Distant relatives, but Nagas were solitary. Other humans. A few, but none he'd bonded with. What would happen to her? Age slower, heal faster, become stronger. Would she become a snake? No, but she might develop serpent-like qualities. What about children? Ryan's expression grew sad. Nagas and humans rarely produce offspring. It's possible but unlikely. Another loss. Show me, Maya said suddenly. Your real form. If I'm staying, I need to accept all of you. In their private backyard, Ryan transformed. Maya forced herself to watch. His body twisted, elongated, became the massive golden serpent. It was terrifying and beautiful. She stepped closer, reached out, touched the smooth, warm scales. You're beautiful, she whispered. He transformed back. I'm going to stay, Maya said. But no more lies. If I ask something, you tell me the truth. I promise. And I need time to adjust, to grieve the normal life I'm losing. Take all the time you need. Maya nodded. Then we'll make this work. 3 months passed. Maya settled into her new reality, feeling changes in her body. Slight luminescence, brighter eyes, enhanced grace. Ryan explained his world had its own society and laws. There's a gathering coming up, a council meeting that happens every decade. I'm required to present you. Present me. Introduce you formally to the community. It's tradition when a bonding occurs. The gathering was at a mountain lake in Oregon. When they arrived, Maya saw dozens of elegant people, all Nagas in human form. An older woman approached. Ryan. It's been 50 years. Saranya. May I present my wife, Maya? Saranya's gaze felt like being examined under a microscope. A human bonding. How modern. Are you certain this was wise? Binding yourself to a creature with such a brief lifespan. Her lifespan is extended now, Ryan said. Extended, but still limited. What happens when she ages beyond you? I'm aware of the risks, Maya said firmly. This was my choice. The gathering began at sunset. One by one, the Nagas transformed into massive serpents, gold, silver, green, blue, black, surrounding the lake. It was breathtaking. The ceremony continued in an ancient language. After formal proceedings, there was socializing. Saranya introduced Maya to Kailani, who'd once bonded with a human. He aged. I didn't, Kailani said sadly. We had 40 beautiful years, but eventually he died at 92. I held his hand as he passed. Do you regret it? Never. Those 40 years were worth the pain. Suddenly, a commotion erupted. A young Naga named Damon pointed at Maya and Ryan angrily. They're diluting our bloodline. Every human bonding weakens our kind. Our numbers are declining. If more bond with humans, pure Nagas will disappear. Your choice affects all of us, Damon shouted at Ryan. You're a traitor. An elder intervened. Enough. Ryan has broken no laws. His bonding is legitimate. The gathering continued, but hostility lingered. As they left, Kailani caught up with them. Don't let Damon bother you. Our population is mostly male. 3 males for every female. Some bond with humans out of necessity. In the car, Maya asked, did you bond with me out of necessity? At first, yes. I needed to bond to survive. But I chose you specifically because I felt something real. Maya understood now. She'd entered a complex world with politics, prejudices, and a declining population. I want to help, she said. Your population crisis. There has to be something we can do. Ryan looked surprised. Most humans just want to fit in quietly. I'm part of this world now. I might as well try to make it better. Maya threw herself into research. She connected with Jennifer, the marine biologist who'd bonded decades ago. Naga females are only fertile once every 20 years, Jennifer explained. With so few females, reproduction is rare. They can't replace their losses. Maya studied everything: Naga biology, history, population dynamics. Every solution led to dead ends until one night, she had a vivid dream. A massive glowing serpent spoke. You're asking the wrong questions. Not how to save us, but why we're dying. She woke with sudden clarity. What if low reproduction was a symptom, not the cause? Maya researched environmental factors. Human expansion had destroyed most remote Naga habitats. But more critically, many Naga anchor points, places of power where they were strongest, were now destroyed or inaccessible. What happens if a Naga loses their anchor point? Maya asked Ryan. They weaken progressively. Eventually they can't maintain human form and die if they can't find a new anchor. How many have lost their anchors? Maybe hundreds over the past century. That's why you're dying out. You're losing your connection to the earth. Maya contacted Jennifer and others. Together, they mapped Naga anchor points against threats from development and climate change. The results were devastating. 40% of known anchor points were at significant risk. We need to present this to the council, Maya said. If we can protect anchor sites, we might stabilize the population. They spent months preparing. Finally, they requested an emergency council meeting. Jennifer presented their findings to the assembled Nagas. Your decline correlates directly with anchor point loss. Within 2 centuries, most North American anchor points will be compromised, leading to population collapse. Saranya challenged them. You're saying humans are killing us, and we should trust humans to save us? Maya stepped forward. We identify critical anchor points and use human systems, conservation laws, private land purchases, to protect them. Nagas have accumulated wealth for millennia. What if you created a collective fund for preservation? The debate raged for hours. Finally, an elder named Nalini proposed forming a committee, half traditional Nagas, half bonded pairs, to investigate further. The proposal passed narrowly. Maya was asked to serve on the committee. As they left, Kailani approached. That took courage. You gave them hope. But Maya sensed Ryan hiding something through their bond, a flicker of fear he wouldn't share. What are you afraid of? She asked. Nothing. Just tired. But Maya knew he was lying. Something was worrying him about her. She'd find out what soon enough. The committee work consumed Maya's life for 2 months. But something was changing in her body beyond normal bonding effects. Her skin developed iridescent sheen. Her eyes glowed in darkness. And along her spine, she felt ridges forming under her skin. Is this normal? She asked Ryan, touching the bumps on her back. Some bonded humans develop minor traits, Ryan said carefully. You're just responding strongly. But Jennifer noticed too. You're glowing more than usual. I've been bonded 30 years and never glowed. That night, Maya confronted Ryan. Tell me the truth. What's happening? Ryan sighed. In very rare cases, 1 in 1,000 bondings, humans transform more significantly. Into something between human and Naga. Maya's stomach dropped. How far does it go? I don't know. Maybe minor changes. Or more Naga than human. And you didn't tell me this could happen? The odds were less than 1%. Can it be stopped? Jennifer ran tests. Your cellular structure is changing. You're developing microscopic scales. Maybe separating from Ryan temporarily would slow it. But Maya refused. I won't leave you. Jennifer researched tirelessly. The transformation is irreversible but plateaus. You'll keep your human shape but develop scales, possibly a partial tail, enhanced abilities. You'll become a bridge between both worlds. That night, Maya stood in the bathroom doing her skincare routine. Ryan appeared in the doorway. I'm heading out soon. Tokyo team. Maya lifted her compact mirror to check her face. In the reflection behind her, she saw Ryan. But from the waist down, a golden serpent tail coiled across the floor. She gasped and spun around. He looked completely normal. I saw your tail in the mirror. Ryan's expression shifted. Mirrors show truth that eyes can't see. You're starting to perceive things differently. Both forms exist simultaneously for us, human and serpent, overlaid. Maya looked in the mirror again. Along her spine, faint golden scales appeared, visible only in reflection. Her eyes glowed. Her shadow seemed denser than human. This is what I'm becoming. And you're beautiful, Ryan said, his reflection's tail coiling protectively around her transformed shadow. Maya started crying. This isn't what I signed up for. I'm sorry. Actually, I signed up for till death do us part. Death's just taking longer than expected. They held each other, and Maya realized. Yes, she was changing. But she wasn't alone. She had Ryan, Jennifer, purpose, and work that mattered. I'm scared. But I think I'm okay with this. Over following months, Maya's transformation continued. Scales appeared on her spine and shoulders. Her strength increased dramatically. She could hold her breath underwater for an hour. And she discovered she could sense anchor points, feel their power, understand their importance in ways neither human nor Naga could. You're becoming exactly what we need, Nalini told her. A bridge between worlds. The conservation project succeeded. They'd protected 15 critical anchor points. Naga population decline had slowed measurably. 1 year after learning the truth, Maya stood on their deck, skin shimmering, scales catching moonlight. She looked more Naga than human now. Ryan joined her. Any regrets? Maya thought honestly. She'd lost her normal life, her full humanity. But she'd gained so much more. Not a single one. Through the mirror of self-reflection, she'd seen the truth, about Ryan and herself. She was stronger than she'd imagined, brave enough to transform into something new. She wasn't the same woman who'd danced in a nightclub. This Maya was something the world had never seen before. And her story was just beginning. What an incredible journey. Would you risk everything for love? Like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more amazing stories. Tell me in the comment which party of country you are watching from, what you think of Maya's choice. Thanks for watching.